Imagine a thief who does not steal your money, does not steal your car, and does not steal your possessions. Instead, this thief steals your eyes. Then they steal your ears. And finally, they steal your memory. They leave you with nothing but a lingering doubt. Am I going crazy? The term comes from a 1938 play, but the practice is as old as human language. Gaslighting is not just lying. Lying is an attempt to hide a truth. Gaslighting is an attempt to replace the truth. It is a systematic psychological erosion where the abuser denies reality so persistently that the victim begins to question their own sanity. It happens in marriages. It happens in boardrooms. It happens between parents and children. The goal is always the same: control. If they can control your perception of reality, they own you. In this dossier, we will dismantle the reality distortion field. We will expose the 3 stages of gaslighting, analyze the specific phrases they use to disarm you, and provide you with the psychological weapons to shatter their illusion. Welcome to Umbra. It is time to trust your own mind again.
Gaslighting is never sudden. If someone walked up to you today and said the sky is green, you would laugh. You would know they're lying. So the gaslighter does not start with the sky. They start with the temperature. They start with a small comment, a joke, a misplaced set of keys. This is called the slow poison. It relies on the frog in boiling water effect. In the beginning, the gaslighter is often charming. This is the idealization phase. They build you up so that you trust their judgment. They create a shared reality. Once you trust them, they introduce the first glitch. They deny saying something they definitely said. I never promised to be there at 6. You must have heard me wrong. You let it slide. It's a small thing. You don't want to fight. But then it happens again and again. Every time you concede, every time you say, okay, maybe I was wrong, you surrender a piece of your cognitive territory. You are training your brain to prioritize their version of events over your own sensory data. The gaslighter is an architect. They are building a house where the walls move and the doors don't lead where they should, and you are the only resident. Gaslighters operate from a specific script. Across cultures and languages, they use the same 4 categories of phrases. We call these the linguistic daggers. You are just being sensitive. Can't you take a joke? This is the most common weapon. By labeling your reaction as emotional or crazy, they invalidate the event itself. If you are too sensitive, then their abuse isn't abuse. It's just you being weak. You remember it wrong. That never happened. They attack your memory directly. If they can convince you that your memory is faulty, you become dependent on them to tell you what is true. You become a child, and they become the parent. I am not discussing this. You are trying to confuse me. When you get close to the truth, they shut down. They pretend they're the victim of your confusion. They refuse to engage, leaving you desperate for resolution that never comes. You catch them in a lie. Instead of admitting it, they bring up a mistake you made 3 years ago. Oh, so I'm the bad guy? What about when you lost your job in 2019? Suddenly, you are defending yourself instead of holding them accountable. The subject has changed. You have lost. Gaslighting is not limited to romance. It thrives in the hierarchy of the workplace. Corporate gaslighting is often more subtle because it hides behind professionalism and performance reviews. Watch for the phantom goalpost. Your boss gives you a target, you hit the target, then they say, "That wasn't the target, I asked for something else." They deny their previous instructions. Without written proof, you look incompetent. Watch for the silent treatment. You are excluded from email chains. You are left out of meetings.
When you ask why, they say, "Oh, it was just a minor meeting, you didn't need to be there." But decisions were made. You are being slowly erased from the loop, making you paranoid and less effective at your job, which then justifies them firing you. The corporate gaslighter wants you to fail, but they want you to believe it is your own lack of skill. They want you to quit so they don't have to pay severance. Now let us discuss armor. How do you fight a war against reality? The first rule is, do not debate reality. You cannot use logic to defeat a gaslighter, because gaslighting is not about logic, it is about power. When you try to prove them wrong, you are feeding them. You are showing them that their distortion is working. To protect yourself, you must learn the JADE acronym. These are the 4 things you must never do when under attack. J. Do not justify. A. Do not argue. D. Do not defend. E. Do not explain.
When they say, "You are crazy, that never happened," do not explain why it happened. Do not argue the timeline. Simply say, "We remember it differently," and then stop. Silence is your weapon. If they say you are too sensitive, do not defend your emotions. Simply say, "I heard what you said, and I didn't like it." This is called the gray rock method. You become as boring and unreactive as a gray rock. If they cannot get a rise out of you, if they cannot make you question yourself, they lose their power supply.
Your memory is vulnerable. Under stress, the brain produces cortisol, which inhibits the hippocampus, the memory center. You literally do forget things when you are being abused. Therefore, you must outsource your memory. Create a reality anchor. Write things down immediately. If you have a meeting with a gaslighting boss, send a follow-up email instantly. Just to recap our discussion, we agreed on X and Y. Now there is a paper trail. If it is a partner, keep a private journal. Note the date, the time, and exactly what was said. When they try to rewrite history 2 weeks later, you do not need to rely on your stressed mind. You open the book, you read the data. The book does not lie. The book cannot be gaslit. This serves 2 purposes. First, it proves to you that you are sane. Second, if you ever need to involve HR, lawyers, or therapists, you have a dossier of evidence. The most dangerous lie is the one that makes you doubt the truth-teller. Gaslighting is a form of psychological murder. It tries to kill the you that perceives the world. But now you know the mechanism. You know the phrases. You have the armor. Trust your eyes. Trust your gut. And if the reflection in the mirror looks distorted, check to see who cracked the glass. To arm yourself with more knowledge from the dark side of psychology, subscribe to Umbra Decode. We provide the light. You must find the way.